So I've come up with kind of 3 or 4 reasons and a couple of scenarios that I really think plays well to the success of the adventure bike segment and why they're so popular. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Each Adventure channel. My name is Josh, and today we're up here on Palomar Mountain. This is whoa this is almost me crashing. Trying to get a little too confident here with the rocks and the wheeling on the rocks and stuff. Anyways, this is another one of our Flying Monkey Wednesday rides. I'm out here with a bunch of adventure bikes and wishing I had an adventure bike myself right now. I'm going to share the story of the pain that I endured to get over here on another video. If that video comes out before, I'll go ahead and link it down in the description, and I'll put a little card for you guys to take a look at right now. But yeah, man, really wishing I had an adventure bike right now. And why is that, Josh? Why? You like dual sports, you might be wondering. Well, I've been wanting a kind of adventure bike lately. You know, I'm always of the kind of the mindset that smaller is better. I hold that kind of mindset. I have a passion for small bikes, things that are small and simple. And if I was to choose an adventure bike, I'd probably get one of the small ones. But yeah, man, an adventure bike really would have made my day today a lot more enjoyable, I think. So what do I mean by that? And one question that I kind of want to answer in this video is, you know, why are adventure bikes so popular? So I've tried to make this video a few times before, and my thoughts have always come out kind of mixed, and, you know, it just didn't really make any sense. It was kind of boring. I was kind of just grasping at straws when it came to, you know, some of the reasons why I think adventure bikes are so popular and why people seem to enjoy them so much. So I've come up with kind of 3 or 4 reasons and a couple of scenarios that I really think plays well to the success of the adventure bike segment and why they're so popular. Little double track, I guess. Everybody kind of, went this way, I guess. So the first reason why I think adventure bikes are so popular, is because of the comfort. Yeah, actually, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons is, you know, because of the comfort. And, you know, you might be thinking, oh, you're riding dirt, you're riding an adventure, you don't need to be comfortable. And yeah, you know, technically that's true. You really don't need to be comfortable. But it does make longer rides more enjoyable, and it does make the ability to ride out to the trails more enjoyable. You know, I think that's a big reason why dual sports in general are so popular, but adventure bikes kind of in the same way, because it's not a big deal if you got to ride 50 minutes to the trailhead, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, you know, it makes those kind of trips where you got to ride, you know, 50-60 miles to the trailhead not that big of a deal. And that's about what I had to go through today, and it was a brutal 2 hours and 10 minutes, let me tell you. And if I had something that was a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more geared towards riding on the highway, even though the DRZ will do it, you know, comfort's not exactly synonymous with the DRZ here. So, but yeah, so I think that's the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest pros when it comes to adventure bikes is the comfort. Kind of going hand in hand with that, the second reason why I think they're so popular is because of the range. You know, when you get some of these bikes that have 4.5+ gallon gas tanks, you know, your range goes up significantly, you know, up into the 200-300 miles, sometimes maybe even more than that. And, you know I could put you know, 3.9-ish gallon tank on the DRZ, but at about 50 miles per gallon, which is what I get with it with the current gearing, you know, that's a little under 200 miles if I'm doing my math correctly. So again, it's one of those things that would have made today's ride a lot more enjoyable. I would have only had to get gas this morning, and then basically today's total mileage, including my commute to work, my commute here, and my commute home, is probably going to be upwards of 200 miles. This is a cool route, man. That's why I really like that Kawasaki Versus so much, is it has that speed to handle the highway, and it also has like a 4.5 gallon tank, and it gets upwards of 60 miles per gallon. So something like that would have been ideal for this ride today. The third reason I think why adventure bikes are so popular is I think a lot of people really like the challenge. You know what I mean? I think a lot of riders that ride it in the dirt really enjoy the challenge of handling a big bike off-road, you know, and still having that comfort that you would get from a dedicated street bike. You know, I've seen some guys in this group ride these big adventure bikes like they're, you know, little dirt bikes, better than I can ride the DRZ, better than I can ride pretty much any bike, which is pretty crazy. And, you know, I'm grouping the KLR 650 into the adventure bike category right now, even though it is more of a dual sport. You know, just the size and the range and the comfort. I'm going to stick it with the adventure bikes for now. But yeah, I think a lot of people really like the challenge. A lot of the stuff that we do on these Wednesday rides is really, you know, skill building for big bikes. We ride kind of flowy fire roads like this. We ride, you know, sometimes some technical climbs like at Margarita Peak. We ride, you know, some of the smaller trails and stuff like at Wildemar on the farm. So, you know, I think a lot of guys that come out to those really like, you know, kind of pushing their skills on that kind of stuff and really seeing how far that they can push themselves on a big bike. And you know, I would argue even on a smaller bike, I mean, I would love to you know, see what like the Versus is capable of, the Versus 300 is capable of, or the BMW G310 GS, or shoot, even the RX-3. I would love to see how you know, how capable it is in some of that kind of terrain, and test it and see kind of what it feels like to handle that heavier bike like that. And that kind of brings me to my fourth reason, and I think this is probably one of the biggest reasons, is the versatility that comes with an adventure bike. Now, you could argue that like a dual sport or even an enduro is more versatile because, you know, you can take it in a lot more places than you can take a big bike off-road, and that part is 100% true. You know, but it comes at the cost of comfort, it comes at the cost of range. Most of the dual sports really aren't that great on the road. I mean, they're okay and they're manageable and they do it just fine. But riding on the street, you know, isn't their primary function. So that versatility is really key, I think, for the big and the little adventure bikes, because of two reasons. The first reason that I can think of is people that are kind of wanting to move from street to dirt. And, you know, not everybody grew up riding dirt bikes and really kind of have that, you know, that passion for riding off-road or for riding motocross, like those people that grew up riding dirt bikes, or even like ATVs or something like that, you know. And you know, having the ability to purchase a bike that you could primarily use on the street, primarily use as a commuter, and being able to take that off-road, I think is very appealing, you know, even if you're only doing roads like this, you know what I mean? And so all those things that I talked about come into play because, you know, it's comfortable like a street bike, but it's still capable in the dirt. It can still get you out, you know, to these remote areas. You know, granted, you probably don't want to be out alone just in case you drop it and you have to pick it up on your own. That's why I think the small bikes, the small adventure bikes that are coming out, or even the middleweight ones, are so appealing, for me at least. And I think the same is true in the opposite direction. If there's people that are looking to transition from dirt to street, and that's kind of the category that I fall into. I mean, I kind of grew up riding bicycles. I had ridden motorcycles before, but I never really had one. And you know, the moment I got one, I was hooked, and I always knew I liked them. I always wanted one. You know, the more and more I ride, the more and more I want to ride. And the more and more I want to explore these far remote areas. And, you know, the majority of stuff that's around where I live, like, I want to ride there. Like, I don't want to trailer my bike, you know? That's why a couple days out of the week I usually commute to work. One of them is so I can attend this. usually on a weekly basis, and you know, the other ones to take advantage of the practicality of a motorcycle, being able to lane split, you know, getting quite a bit more gas mileage than my car. And that dirt to street aspect is a very intriguing proposition, you know, when you just enjoy riding, like not just dirt riding, just all kinds of riding. And so, like I said, you know, the trek out here would have been a lot more enjoyable on a bigger bike, or even one of the, you know, the newer, smaller ADV bikes. And I could have just stayed on the highway and just lane split through all the traffic, and I would have been just fine in the faster, you know, highway sections where, you know, people in California like to think the speed limit's 90 miles an hour. Man, this is fun. So anyways, guys, that's it. Those are some of my reasons and thoughts as to why adventure bikes are so popular. You know, depending on who you talk to and who your friends are and what they like to ride, you know, some people just don't get it. You know, they think they're just heavy and they have no practicality. And, you know, the practicality of choosing one just to ride in the dirt is a bit lost on me. But, you know, the practicality of something where, you know, you're primarily going to use it on the road, and then also have the ability to, you know, take long trips or go on rides like this, or, you know, commute with it, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, I think in that regard, you know, having an adventure bike, especially a smaller one, kind of like a 300-400, I'd really like to see a modern kind of 600-ish would be awesome. So we'll have to see what that new Yamaha Tenere 700 has in store for everybody. So I'll be curious to hear your guys' thoughts. If you want to chime in and kind of contribute to this kind of thought on adventure bikes, please feel free to leave me a comment down below, and we'll go ahead and talk about adventure bikes. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like down below, and if you're new here, please subscribe. We like to do adventures like this on a weekly basis, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. So until next time, guys, be sure to have fun, take care, and ride safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, be sure to get out there and have adventures of your own, and I will see you guys next time. Later! All right, later, guys.